Welcome, Kate here. So glad you joined me for this class. This class today is intended for really anytime you're coming off of a shift or maybe a stressful situation. So starting to bring down all of the stimulus from work. So maybe a lot of sounds, a lot of music, loud music, voices, a lot of talking, right? Maybe some smells, maybe some visuals, bright lights, maybe touch. A lot of things that we just really want to bring down to a place where we can feel back in control of our body, feel in control of our breath, and really start to soften and prepare ourselves for a really great rest, right? So if you have a mat, great. If not, you could place a towel down on the floor, that's fine too. If you have a bolster, yoga bolster, great. If not, a bed pillow, a couch pillow will work as well. So let's get started. So let's come to the floor, come to your mat. And we're gonna start with child's pose and start with some breathing, right? So for child's pose, bring your knees a little bit wide. So to the edge of the mat, bring the toes close together and let the hips sink down towards the heels. Bring your arms way out in front of you, if that's okay. If not, you can bring the arms down by your side with your forehead on the floor. If that's too much, you could always bring a little something underneath your head, right? If things aren't just kind of falling into place there, so that's fine too. All right, so stay in child's pose. I'm going to talk you through some breath, all right? So while you're in child's pose, breathe in by the nose and sigh out by the mouth. Again, we'll do a few of these. In by the nose and out by the mouth. Good. Keep going. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Big breath. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Full lungs. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Full breath. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. So from child's pose, let's come to all fours. Come to all fours, and we're going to start with the feet. So from here, tuck the toes under. So tuck the toes under and start to shift the weight back onto the feet, onto the toes, and you're on your knees. So toes are tucked under. We actually call this toe stand. So even the pinky toes, so I've got these tiny little stubby pinky toes, so even make sure they're flipped the correct way. So the weight of your body is coming down to your feet. So when I was dancing, I remember, the stress during the shift and after the shift that my feet would feel from those shoes. I have super wide feet, and my feet just did not agree with those heels. So maybe your feet are fine with it, but mine are not, and we're not. So really starting with the feet, because the feet are the foundation for your body, and the stress in your body sometimes can travel all the way up to your feet, all the way up the entire body. So want to relieve from that. If that's too much, if this is like, yeah, I do feel it, and it's a lot, you can shift the weight back forward into the hands a little bit, take a little bit of the pressure off, but still, yes, working through the feet. So inhale by the nose, exhale by the mouth. Again, inhale by the nose, belly expands, exhale by the mouth. So keep going. So as you're breathing, one relaxing breath that we use is called ujjayi breathing, or it's like the breath of the ocean. So the throat starts to close a little bit and regulate the air, sort of like a valve. So as you inhale, kind of sounds almost like a little snore. Exhale, kind of like Darth Vader. So that's a breath that you can do to really help bring oxygen into the body. So this could be a bit stressful for the feet right now. And don't worry, we're getting ready to come out. All right, so bring your hands back down to the mat. Lift the hips up, come into down dog. So being in high heels, the calves actually get a little bit shorter while your legs are in that position with the high heels. So good thing to come into a place where you can stretch your calves out. So here we're in down dog. You can walk the dog a little bit, right? So with your hands, make sure your index finger's pointing straight ahead towards the front of the mat or wherever you are, and the rest of the fingers fan out. Most of the weight's gonna be into your thumb and your index finger. Your hips lift up towards the ceiling, and chest gently presses back towards the tops of the thighs. So yeah, you can keep walking it out if you need to. Walking it out, hips lift up, chest presses through. So really creating the length in the back of the body that you kind of lose from being in heels for a long period of time. So also, spine is getting nice and long as you lift the hips up towards the ceiling. So creating space between each and every vertebra. So keep the breath going in by the nose. And if you can, actually, now let's change to out by the nose. All right. So yeah, taking care of the calves and a little bit with the hamstrings too. So from here, we're gonna move into the hips and we're gonna go into a posture called pigeon. So bring your right knee towards your right wrist. Yep. And extend the left leg back nice and long. So you should feel this in your outer right hip or your outer right butt kind of. So from here you can stay up, right, with your hands supporting you, or you can come all the way down, or even if you like, you can bring that cushion out in front and sort of lay down on that if that feels good. So these kind of postures too are great when we're kind of down like this, because if we've been around a lot of bright lights or lasers and all that kind of stuff, so much to take in. So just kind of bringing everything back into this nice, just serene, dim, safe place, right? So from here, we stay here for a bit. So again, if you'd like to stay upright, you can. So checking out the back leg, make sure it's straight behind you. Top of the foot is flat on the floor. Your shoulders are relaxed. And breathing normal, in by the nose and out by the nose. To maintain that nice, smooth breath. This posture I would love to hold for like 5 minutes on each side. So you're welcome to pause and hold a little bit longer. And we're gonna move on to the other side. So from here, tuck the left toes back under, lift the hips up, and come into down dog. Walk it out a little bit, get the feeling going back through the right leg, right hip, right butt. And we're gonna do it on the other side. Inhale, bring the left leg up, bring the left knee to the left wrist, and extend the right leg nice and long. Good. So again, you can stay upright. You don't have to come down and be like, yeah, this is good. I'm kind of watching something right now, maybe watching food cook or a little one, whatever that might be. And so, yeah, you're welcome to bring it down. So yeah, today's class is really meant to restore. We call this a restorative class. So we'll definitely have classes in the future that are more to bring the heart rate up, maybe get a little sweat on, but this is to really bring it all down to a more calm state to get you ready for rest, right? Breathe in by the nose and out by the nose. Good. Couple more breaths here and we'll continue to transition. So yeah, we've worked through the feet, through the calves, hamstrings, and the hips. Let's bring it on up. Tuck the right toes under. Bring the left foot back for down dog. And yeah, if you'd like to walk it out a little bit, you can. If you just want to be here in stillness, you can. Lift the hips up and press the chest towards the thighs. If the heels don't touch the mat, it's okay. It's all right. Breathe. Good. And from here, let's bring it into a plank, or you can just bring it on down to the knees, but we're gonna lower it all the way down. Let me get this out of the way. And this is a super gentle back bend called Sphinx. So just like the statue in Egypt, you're like the Sphinx here. So make sure your elbows right underneath your shoulders. You can bring your legs out wide if you like. Good. Or you can bring them in close, whatever feels better. And here we're getting a slight arch, actually a pretty good arch in the spine, but it's a pretty passive stretch, so nothing too crazy. We're not exerting ourselves too much here. So think about your posture throughout the day. Maybe you were sitting a while, maybe it wasn't a great night, and you were sitting for a while, and sometimes posture starts to slump, right? So there is such a thing as muscle memory. Good muscle memory, and also muscle memory that doesn't serve us as far as our muscles remembering bad posture, right? So we want to bring our spine into a back bend and keep the head straight. So even if you've been on your device, if you've been on your phone for a long time, think about your posture when you're doing that. Is it like this? Probably not. You probably let your head just kind of fall down. That's a lot of stress on the neck, and the spine is probably rounded. So this is a great one. So keep the arms where they are, but think about drawing the elbows down towards the ribs and bringing the chest a little bit through as we get into the spine. Good. And slowly come on down. So from here, we're going to move into our closing series and roll onto your back to get a little spine twist. So we just did a back bend. We're going to get to a spine twist. Bring your knees into your chest. And you can do a little rock side to side if you like. Bring your knees over to the left and bring your arms straight out to your sides. So arms are perpendicular to your body. So arms straight out. And gaze now is over your right arm. Good. I love this one. So anytime you do a back bend, it's great to eventually have a spine twist to follow, maybe a couple poses down the road, or it might be the next pose like this was. So here, we're kind of detoxing the spine. It's really great for the spine. And also, you can use the knees as a rudder to really navigate where most of the twist and most of the release is going to be in this posture. So if you have more tension in the middle spine and the upper spine, you can bring your knees up high. If you have more tension in the lower spine, you can bring your knees a little bit lower. And you could even bring the left arm over the right leg if you need that. And yeah, if you need to pause this one so you can hold this side a little bit longer, feel free to do that. And we're going to inhale and bring the knees back to center and over to the right. And look over to the left. Good. So again, move the knees where you need to, where it feels best in your spine. Good. And bring the knees back to center. Hold there a little bit longer. Pause if you need to. And we're going to come into what we call Shavasana, or dead body pose. So this is where we just completely relax. What I like to do with this one is actually bring something underneath my knees. Oops, there we go. You can just bring your legs out nice and long. That's perfectly fine. Or you could take a lot of the tension off of the spine. You can bring a bolster or cushion underneath the knees. And let the heels are close together and the feet just fall open. That completely releases the hips that might have been stressed out over the night. And then palms facing up to completely relax the shoulders as well. So from here, soften the hips, soften the shoulders. If you still need to move the neck around a little bit to get any tension out of there, maybe chin to shoulder, just gentle movement that way. because we moved all the way literally from the toes and now all the way up to the crown of our head. And just when you're ready to be still and completely soften into your mat, go for it. And just take those breaths in by the nose and out by the nose. If you like, if it helps with your breathing, you can place one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. And relax here for a few more moments. And just breathe. And I wanted to share a little something from one of my favorite books, and this short paragraph is inspired by Romans 12:2, and that's be transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? So anyone can agree that growing is a good thing, but really very few people actually dedicate themselves to growing. And why? Because growth is hard and it requires change. It requires a lot of uncertainty. And it's just really hard for most people. And the truth of it is that without change, growth is impossible. So many of us fight it. And Tolstoy said, everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. So the ironic thing, though, is change is inevitable. And everybody has to deal with it in their lives. And on the other hand, growth is optional. So you can choose to grow or to fight it. But know this, people unwilling to grow will never reach their potential. So know that wherever you are in your life, you have so much potential. You're created for so much greatness. And yes, change automatically happens. Be willing to put in the risk to grow. So that's my wish for you. Have a wonderful rest.